Hi, I'm Terry Lyles. Welcome to Performance Under Pressure. I've got a special interview today with a friend of mine from years gone by and still today, Doug Herbert. And Doug is a great guy. We worked together years ago with his race team. We had some great sponsors and people who were part of his race team. And we've got a great story we want to share with you. And I share his story in corporate America. So if you've heard me speak, you have heard Doug's story and James and John's story. And I want to get into that, but I have Doug with me today to go through that. So Doug, thank you for being a part of this with me today.
Man, Terry, thanks. I appreciate it. It's always good to see you. Always good to talk with you, and just happy we get to spend a little bit of time chatting and maybe talk a little bit about some old times and some good times and some tough times.
Yeah, well, the good times, the end of 2007, we started working together with your race team and just doing Performance Under Pressure, which is what I'm doing now. It's just called something different then, but that's basically what it was. And then I know this is a tough topic to get into, but I know you're used to it because this is what you do now. But, we were on a plane together. We flew to Phoenix. We got off the plane. We're on the racetrack. And you got a call before you could even put your race suit on that literally changed your world forever. So pick it up from there. I can still feel it like yesterday. I'm standing next to you, and this call came through, and wow, what a call.
Yeah, no kidding. January 26, 2008. It was Saturday morning. We're in Phoenix, Arizona. We're getting ready to go 300 miles an hour, testing a brand new race car, getting ready for the 2008 racing season. And I got the call that my two sons were in a car crash. They were killed less than a mile from my house in a car crash. And I couldn't believe that it was true. It's like, surely they're playing a joke on me. This is really bad. And then I found out, no, it wasn't a joke. It was serious. And you remember after that, we went to the airport, we came home, we made funeral arrangements. It was like I was in a dream, but it wasn't a dream. And it was a heck of a time. And to be able to get through that and to try and figure out why is this happening, and what kind of a impact can I make? Can my boys' lives make? Really, that's what it came down to. I don't want my boys just to die. I want to make sure their memory goes on, and they can somehow, through my efforts, help other people, other families, other teenagers. I didn't know at the time. Car crash is the #1 cause of death for teenagers. I did not know that. I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't either.
And at that time, actually, things have changed a little bit now, but at that time, it was more than the next 4 causes of fatalities combined. And I just thought, you know what, the thing that I love the most, right? My boys and cars. And it just, it was just terrible that the way that happened. And so, started working on something to make sure that my boys had a legacy that affected other families, other parents, other teenagers.
And I remember those conversations that we had, and they were difficult. I mean, from the funeral to after that, and then going racing, and you dedicated the whole season for winning a race for your boys. And the photo I show in corporate it has around the helmet for my boys, and the whole season you dedicated to winning a race, and that obviously happened. But then I remember when you retired that year, you said, look, I got to do something bigger with my life. And we had conversations about it. And then you called me one day and you go, I think I figured it out. I want to do a safe driving program for teenagers so they don't end up in the same situation that my 2 boys did. Yeah. And I remember when that happened, it so impacted me. It still does to this day. And it's called Brakes. So it's putonthebrakes.org, but it's Brakes. And tell me what you've done in the past 13 years since then.
Yeah, it's amazing. 13 years. Well, Brakes is an acronym. And you might have even went to my boys' school with me one time. We went there. I asked the kids, I said, guys, your buddies, we lost them in a car crash. I don't want to lose any more people in a car crash. I want you to help me. We're going to come up with a safe driving program. I want you to help me come up with the name of this program. So John's friends came up with that name, Brakes, and it's an acronym, be responsible and keep everyone safe. The high school kids of, John and James' buddies came up with that name. So it's really means a lot all the way, having teenagers involved in what we're doing started at that point, and it hasn't changed. And now we've trained teenagers from like 40 states, over 50,000 families all over the country. And working with the University of North Carolina, we've been able to document teenagers that have been through our brakes training program are 64% less likely to be involved in a car crash. Like, I'd be happy if it was 1% less, 64%. You know, and it's hard to, and I asked Dr. Friday, I said, Dr. Friday, I want to know how many lives we've saved. And he's like, Doug, that's a really hard, you know, we've got to make a lot of assumptions and so forth. But at the end of the day, he came back, he said, your efforts have saved somewhere between 20 and 50 kids. 20 and 50 kids are alive today because of going through brakes. Like, I mean, it just brings tears to my eyes knowing that my boys are so proud of that. Like that, I know that that's something I'm so proud of it. You know, Jessie, you know, my daughter Jessie, she's proud of it. I think everybody, all the 300 instructors that we have all around the country that help work for this charity, they're proud of that. And, you know, that we're able to make such an impact it's just tremendous.
Well, and I talk about your story during the inspiration part of what I talk about. So I talk about the mind, body, and the mental, emotional, spiritual, physical section and performance under pressure. So when I get to the spiritual section, it's about life purpose and what inspires you. And I tell your story, and I tear up every time, just like you do now.
Yeah, I know. Gosh,
and, you know, the audiences are blown away. And literally, not only have you impacted young people's lives for over a decade through my efforts on stage, you've impacted thousands of people in corporate America who have gone now to your website to go to take their teenagers. So this is why I wanted to have you on, because this is how you can make a threat to challenge response from something horrible that happened to you and turn it into something positive.
Well, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. That's what you do every day, right? You're out there working to try and turn people's lives around, turn people's business around, turn people's employees around. And you help me do a lot of that. And you know, a lot of things that I learned from you are what I am, you know, that I put into what we're doing here at Brakes now. We have 10 full-time employees, but I have about 300 contract employees that are our instructors. A lot of them are law enforcement. They're Secret Service agents. They teach the Secret Service guys that drive the president defensive driving. Well, they're also the ones that teach these teenagers safe driving and teach the parents safe driving. It's absolutely, it's just incredible. And you know, you're right. Making your mind up that you're not going to get dragged down. You've got something bad, but look, you've got a million good things. So let's focus on those million good things, and that one bad thing, you know, we've got to kind of let that go a little bit. And a friend of mine, and I know you met him, Bobby Allison, right? NASCAR champion, Bobby Allison, and just one of the best human beings I've ever known in my life. Been friends with him since I was a little kid. My dad was one of his first sponsors when he was just a young little racer racing down in Miami. And Bobby, you know, Bobby's lost two sons. Not very many friends of mine that have lost two sons. Bobby lost his son Clifford in a racing crash, lost his son Davey in a helicopter crash. So not very many people could relate to like Bobby. And one day, and my son James, which you were around on one of my birthdays, but James was born on my birthday. So my birthday, you know, I mean, I think about my birthday, but I think about James's birthday because we were born on the same birthday. You know, we had the same birthday, which was really special bond for my son. And you know how tight we were tight. You know, he was my guy. So anyways, the long story short, I was going out with Bobby to lunch on my birthday, and he says, "Man, it's a tough day." And I go, "Yeah, it's a tough day." And he goes, "What if I could just take all that pain away, Doug?" And I go, "Yeah, are you kidding me? That'd be great, right?" And he goes, "One catch." He goes, "You got no John, you got no James. You got nothing to be sad about, but you got no John, no James." And I said, "Ooh, I wouldn't make that trade-off." And he goes, "Okay, now you're thinking right. You're thinking about how lucky you were to be their dad, how many great experiences you had being that. You got to focus on that and not focus on the sadness that you don't have something new, but you've got so much good that came out of that." And I was like, "You're right." So every time I get drugged down, I think about how lucky I was to be their dad, what an opportunity I have to tell people about them and to make an impact on others. And it, you know, it doesn't make the pain goes away, but it makes it so it's not quite as sharp of a stick poking at me.
No, I agree. And I think that's a great way to look at it. And that's a threat to challenge response. So I'm just really glad that, you know, you guys, you know, part of our proceeds from all that we're going to do starting this year, going into next year in 2021, you know, performance under pressure and changing people's lives with them is proceeds going back to Brakes. So it's put on the
Awesome.
brakes.org. And look, I've been promoting you for so long because you're such an inspiration to people. And I really just appreciate so much what you've done. And you've impacted people, and your boys have impacted people's lives that you'll never know.
I think you're right. Yeah. What a reward that is. I mean, what a terrible way to have to get into something like this. I would have never guessed it, right, 13 years ago, that my life was going to turn in that direction. But it's ended up, what a blessing to know that we've been able to impact so many other teenagers and families, because it's not just the kids, right? It's the parents, it's their friends. I mean, the school closed down. You were there. I mean, my kid's school closed, so all these kids could go to a funeral. They never been to a funeral. It was terrible to have to go through that, and to know that we're able to change that for some other families, it's incredible.
It's a powerful thing. So, Doug Herbert, man, I mean, you had a great racing career, but you know what? All your wins, all your accolades, all the cool stuff that you've done in your life, this is by far your pinnacle, of what you've been able to contribute to the planet, in my opinion. So, God bless you, man. You've done a great job, and you're impacting people's lives. And whether you save 1, 20, or 1,000,000 lives, saving lives is a great thing to do. So,
unbelievable.
Really appreciate it.
Yep, unbelievable. Yeah. Thank you for your inspiration. You're pushing and helping keep me from going on the crazy train. And hey, you got to stay focused. You got to you got to think about the positive things that even if you had something bad happen, there's something positive that can come out of it. I guess that's what this comes out. And you've been somebody that helped me pull that out of a bad situation.
Yeah, cool. Now, Doug Herbert, great to be with you today. PutOnTheBrakes.org. If you've not been there, go check it out. You can donate right on the website. I encourage you to do it. It's a great cause. We'll keep you informed. Thanks for being a part of today, Doug. I'm Terry Lyles. This is Performance Under Pressure, and we will talk again soon.
Thanks, buddy.